Hello and welcome on this fine sunny day here in France. Well, there's something been bugging me, it is. When there's so many people out there struggling, alright? And now we've got this new budget, so people are going to be struggling even more. Small to medium enterprises are going to be struggling even more. And when you said they didn't really get any help during the pandemic, you know, it feels like a bit of a mickey take, it really does. Now, when the monarchy is extracting all this money from you to pay for their, well, castles, you know, for their flights, for their security, all that stuff is coming out of taxpayers' pockets. And I just feel it's just wrong. I really do. When ordinary people are finding the day-to-day living almost impossible. Now, so I did a bit of research on this and I actually found an article which was just posted yesterday about the same thing. I thought, crikey, that's a bit odd, isn't it? You know, I just talked about it with the missus and she finds this article which was literally posted yesterday. Yeah, literally yesterday. And it says here, the King and the Prince William's estates are making millions from charities and public services. Now, I can remember when I used to, you know, work on old tools and what have you, and if we ever needed to go to the tip, there was the monarchy's bit. Literally, they would measure by the cubic metre regarding your waste, because you have to pay for your waste, but there's a portion of it which was the king's bit, or the queen's bit at the time, for the monarchy. Yeah, just so you can stick your rubbish in the ground. Says that. But also they're saying here about charities, and we know about public services, but when you consider the king owns a huge amount of land, a huge amount of seabed, coastal, you know, it is a mickey take, isn't it? It really is, and people are finding it hard to make ends meet, and then they're swanning around saying, oh, how concerned they are about this, that and the other, and they're living in an absolute luxury. It doesn't look good, does it, really? I don't think so. And it isn't just the king, it's the prince, but all the monarchy. Unless obviously, unless it's Prince Harry, of course. So King Charles and Prince William's property empires are taking millions of pounds from cash-strapped charities, yes. There's charities that he's a patron of, you know, that they pay rent to him. They have to pay him rent for the buildings they're operating from, and yet he's the patron. That don't sound to me that he's actually been very supportive. No. Schools, NHS, prisons, and they're all under investigation at the moment because they're all having to pay fees to the king, to the monarchy. So reports claim that the duchies, actually this is directly to them actually, it's not just the monarchy, it's to the king, it's stuff that they own. And the same with Prince William, the stuff that they own. If you ask me, it is such a piss take, let's be honest, it really is. And the reports claim that the Duchies of Lancaster and Cornwall, which are exempt from business taxes, small to medium enterprises have just been hit with more taxation. I know there's up to 5,000 to 10,000, you know, what have you. That's been increased. It could be a good thing or a bad thing regarding employing people. But, you know, it's just everything's becoming more and more expensive and just harder to do. It's the cost of materials, you know. If you're a builder, you know, or even just a job, you know, job and builder, your profits are gone or going. So this is basically all to fund his lavish lifestyles, apparently. This is not allowing for, obviously, the fact that we are paying for his security. We are paying for the upkeep of his, like, 11 mansions. You know, it's a piece, it really is a mickey take. And he makes about 50-odd million just from leasing land to public services. And there's more than 5,400 leases. And there's a 15-year-old deal. We'll see Guy's and St Thomas's NHS Hospital Trust in London. They pay 11.4 million to store its fleet of electric ambulances. 11.4 million. And he says he supports. What a joke, eh? What a joke. And So 750-year-old estate they've got. Yeah, so they're basically just renting it out to us. So they want our money. They want us to love them. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. Okay. And yet they want to rip us all off. It's not going to be the only example, is it? If they've got flipping 5,400 leases. The king will also make 28 million from wind farms because the Duchy of Lancaster retains a feudal right to charge for cables crossing the foreshore. He basically owns the seabed and lots of beaches and what have you. According to investigation by the Channel 4 dispatchers and the Sunday Times. Now, the Williams Duchy of Cornwall, Prince William's, the hereditary estate of the heir to the throne, has signed a £37 million deal to lease Dartmoor prison for 25 years. Oh, this is just ridiculous. They're costing us a fortune. It's not just about what the direct costs, regarding the security and maintaining those homes, it's everything else. Excuse me. Yes, everything else as well. It's just, it adds up, Before you know, you got £1 billion out of your pocket. This is nuts. His estate also owns Camel Toe House, a 1960s tower block on the banks of the Thames, which has brought in at least 22 million since 2005 from rents paid by charities and other tenants. The Mercury and Macmillan, of which the king is long-standing patrons, have both recently moved out of these premises into smaller premises because they couldn't afford the rent. You'd think they'd make some allowance, wouldn't you? Especially that he's got cancer, and so is his daughter-in-law. You'd think they'd do something, wouldn't you? So the Duchy of Cornwall has also charged the Royal Navy more than 1 million to build and use jetties and more warships, and it also charges the army to train. See, this is defence of his realm. What? This is just ridiculous. Oh, crikey. Dartmoor, but the Ministry of Defence refused a Freedom of Information Act to request asking how much it actually costs. And the Duchy also made more than 600,000 from the construction of a fire station and stands to get nearly 600,000 from rental agreements with 6 state schools. This goes on and on and on. This is ludicrous. I'm not going to do it all because there's just so much of it. I'll leave a link in the description of the article. But yeah, it's a Mickey take. It is just a Mickey take, and we're allowing it to happen. You've got to stand up and fight. Stand up and fight, they said. Yeah, what was that again? Let me know. Leave it in the comments down below. But, I don't know. I don't know what the answer is. Nothing's going to happen. We're not going to see the end of the monarchy. We're just going to have to grin and bear it, aren't we, Just put up with it. Because they like to take the piss out of us lot, and that's exactly what they're doing. Anyway, what do you reckon? Please leave in the comments down below. And what's channel, to Patreon, or buy us a coffee, and the links down below. And also, if you aren't aware, we are recording a second video. I'm looking at it now. 2 cameras I got here, recording at the same time to get all my mess ups as well. Luckily, that was one to take, that one. But yeah, anyway, it's time for me to go. I say toodaloo, So toodaloo.